Hey there, this is Fyree TSG. This is my second video blog of the day, so you're going to see two when you check my YouTube channel, if you are subscribed and if you actually pay attention. This is going to be another video blog. I briefly mentioned in the last one, the PSP, and if you caught that bit, I'm going to go, this is going to be handheld video games, the history, just Nintendo's dominance. Okay, so we'll start with the Game Boy. Game & Watch, yes, is the first Nintendo handheld and what gave us what we now know. And, it's still represented somewhat. If you see something in this, that's probably my charger cord. I'm charging my phone when I'm doing this, so just keep that out of the way. But, it really got started, 89, the launch of the Game Boy, Super Mario Land, and then Tetris, which is still the best-selling handheld game of all time with 40 million copies sold. I've had at least 4 Game Boy Tetris games, which is part of the reason why it's still my favorite game. But the Game Boy had competition. Its biggest competition, I think, has to be the Game Gear, Sega's handheld, the color 16-bit handheld system, which is really cool. I had one. I still have it somewhere. God, I got my original Game Boy somewhere too. But yeah, and that was really about as close as it's been, really. There was the Atari Lynx, and there was a Neo Geo Pocket, and there was a handful of other handhelds, pun intended. But none of them were as competitive as the Game Gear was to the Game Boy, and even the Game Gear just couldn't topple Tetris and Mario. And when you have a Tetris game, and then Game Boy gave us Pokemon, which is this is the second best-selling franchise of all time. Right behind Mario. So Nintendo's got the top 2. I think if you look on Wikipedia, the top franchises of all time, I think most of them are rather Nintendo owned or have been on a Nintendo console. So Nintendo definitely makes its mark, and Nintendo's definitely, anyways. But the Game Boy game led to the Game Boy Pocket, which I remember having one a few years back. And the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy still is the best-selling system of all time until the DS came out, and now that is best-selling handheld of all time. And then you get into the PSP discussion, and I think like 50 million PSPs have been sold or something like that. The biggest fault with that had to be the UMD, the Ultra Mini Disc technology, which was just a fail. I remember seeing UMD movies at Target. Like a whole section in the movie section was UMDs. Like, oh my god, really? I don't trust GameCube games because they're like that big. UMDs are like that big. It's just like they're so freaking small. I don't know how those things don't get damaged so easily. And you can't repair mini discs for GameCube. It says in the GameCube instruction booklet you can't. You can't use any sort of resurfacer or scratch remover for mini disc. What the hell are you supposed to do if your UMD gets scratched? GameCube games are bad enough. You can't find GameCube games in actual GameCube cases used anymore. Most of them are PlayStation 2 cases or Xbox or DVD cases. Can you imagine getting a freaking UMD and not having an actual case for it? You're screwed, because the GameCube game, the little inner rim on the inside of the disc, that thing is cracked and you're screwed. I've gone through a few games thanks to that. Thanks to the shoddy, the idiots who sell GameCube games and non-GameCube game cases. I've done that. If I get a GameCube game and I don't want the game anymore, I keep the case and put it in a DVD case. I don't care. Anyways, off topic, back on topic, and we'll get back there. Basically, in the 22 years since the Game Boy, Nintendo's on the handheld market. It's close to competition with the PSP, obviously. Well, I think if you were to look at the numbers, I think PSP would probably be the best competition Nintendo's had in the handheld market. But even then, it's got that thing beat by 100 million units. And the same about the 3DS. Once the huge games saved for the 3DS, next month we're going to see Tetris. Then we're going to see Paper Mario or Mario Kart and Mario 3D and oodles of other games, including some good third-party games on the way. And then all the the ambassador program and all the downloads in the eShop. You don't even need anything else. I mean, and you can still play your DS games on it, your DSi games on it, your DSiWare still has support. I mean, it's got everything you really want. And then you get to all the... You're like, don't bash the 3DS when it hasn't even had a chance to shine. It's only been out for half a year. This time next year, it broke a few launch records. It was the fastest selling handheld in Nintendo history. And that's saying a lot when you're talking Game Boy and the DS. It's two ancestors, it's two predecessors. I mean, granted, the 3DS probably won't touch the 140 some odd million DSIs that have been sold, especially when those are still selling. But I mean, it's got a good shot, and I think it could, it'll probably pass the Game Boy. And you can play Game Boy games on it. You get the downloads from the eShop. I mean, the handheld market in general. I mean, it's Nintendo, and I always laugh. I'm laughing right now on the inside of the PS Vita. Yeah, okay, so you're gonna have two. For those who don't know, it's the PlayStation Vita. It's Sony's new attempt at toppling the Nintendo 3DS line, because that's gonna happen. Because the PSP did so well. Better than the Atari Lynx. Sorry, Atari fans. Never had one, never wanted one. Didn't even know they really existed. But, I mean, once the PS... There's the 3G model, and then there's a Wi-Fi model. And if you have the 3G model, you have to pay another, God knows what a month for 3G service. I mean, it's a cell phone. Then you have the Sony, whatever, the stupid Sony cell phone PSP combo thing you see that Verizon's selling. I'm like, what is this? I mean, yes, granted, the mobile gaming is now a large part of the handheld market, but I don't like the comparison. It's like, I don't like people when they compare home console, Wii, PS3, Xbox, when they compare it to PCs. No, PCs, the only connection there is, to my opinion, is there's a lot of games that are ported to PC that are ported to the other consoles. And that's just how it works, because that's one big market now. But don't compare PC games. I don't like when PC gamers compare their stuff to console games. It's like, yeah, no, because with the PC, you're pretty much unlimited. All you need to do is get upgrades and more upgrades, and you can pretty much do anything you want with your PC. You're kind of stuck with a console because you're limited to what the console can support. I just don't like that comparison. And the only real connection historically is the fact that early consoles were home computers. The NES was the first true video game console because it was the one that... Well, the Atari. I'd say the Atari is the first true console because it wasn't a computer. But the NES took it to a whole new level. Again, that'll be another blog. I have to summarize it, but basically saying that Nintendo... Oh, if you this is going off a bit, but if you know your history, you know that Nintendo basically in the 80s, after the crash, the video game market crashed, because Atari was dying, and there was a whole lot out there with television and or whatever, and all those just random old Pong playing systems. Nintendo saved it. I mean, say what you will about Nintendo. You can bash it all you want, but without Nintendo, you wouldn't have anything you have today. Without Nintendo's success, without Mario for making Nintendo, familiar worldwide and giving gamers a fresh start, giving the industry a fresh start. Anyways, that's the next blog. But I own a Game Gear. I've owned most of the Game Boys. I don't have a DS or a 3DS. Yeah, I don't have a DS. I've never owned a DS. It's the one I'm missing. Sad. But I mean, it's Nintendo or bust when it comes to handheld. Nothing's going to compete. The PS Vita is not going to be able to compete. It's not going to be launched till later this year in December of this year in Japan, and it probably won't even be launched till next year in the rest of the world. And by that point, the 3DS will have a 10-month or so, lead, and it's already selling really good after the price drop, after the $170 price cut. And then with all the good games coming out before the end of the year, we're going to have 20-30 million 3DSs sold, and then the PS Vita is finally going to come out and have a huge deficit to catch up to, and they're not going to. Sony doesn't compete in that market. They barely compete in the console market. I mean, it's Nintendo. You say what you will how bad the 3DS launch lineup was. Well, it may have sucked, and the price may have been a little too much for some people, for most people. But now that they got the good games coming out, and all these rumored games, and all these official announcements from Nintendo, it's gonna pwn Sony again. You know, the PlayStation Vita is just gonna tank. I mean, it'll do good. I can see it possibly outselling the PSP. It'll probably get 50 million or so units before in its lifetime. But it's Nintendo or bust on the handheld market. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed it. So if you want to get a hold of me, I'm on twitter.com/FyreeTSG, FYREETSG. I should do a blog on why it's pronounced Fyree. Yes, it is pronounced Fyree, not Fyree. Which I think I said in one of my blogs back in 08. Facebook.com/FyreeTSG, same spelling, same everything. Or I'm on Nintendo Realm as FyreeTSG. So, hope you enjoyed. Hope it didn't piss too many of you people off. Later.